Hey, and welcome back to Hank's True Barbecue. Today is steak day, specifically Porterhouse. I'm going to tell you how it differs from other similar cuts. I'm going to show you how to grill it. I'm going to eat it. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back. So what makes the Porterhouse so special? Well, let's take a look at this bad boy. Now it looks really good. Nice marbling, that classic T in the middle, the bone. Good fat cap. This is going to be glorious. Alright, so here it is. Now, a Porterhouse is actually a T-bone steak. But a T-bone steak is not a Porterhouse. So what's the difference, you may ask? Well, if you take a look at this one, very much T-shaped due to the vertebrae and the actual, well, a very, very tiny lower back rib. It's divided in two. So this on the left-hand side is the tenderloin, which is a really nice tender piece of cut. And then you have the top loin, or New York strip steak it's called also. So two different cuts on the same hunk of meat. So that means we're going to place it at a specific location in the grill when cooking. I'll show you later. So now this is at the far back of the animal, and then if you move forward a bit, you can see that this section, the tenderloin, gets smaller and smaller. And that specifically is what determines whether it's a Porterhouse or a T-bone. Now, a Porterhouse steak has to have a certain size of the tenderloin left. If this part shrinks too much when moving forward on the carcass, then it turns into a T-bone. So a T-bone is the same as a Porterhouse, but with a smaller tenderloin part. Now, moving even further up ahead, when the tenderloin gets so small that basically it disappears, we only have the top loin left. That gives you kind of an L-shaped bone, and that's a club steak. Now, moving even further or more forward on the carcass, you get to the ribeye, and the ribeye with the bone in is called a côte de bœuf, or also a cowboy steak. And the bone in is actually the rib. Now, instead of a cowboy steak with a short rib, if you cut it out so the rib is quite long, then that gives you a tomahawk. So the tomahawk and the cowboy steak's the same. The only thing that differs is the length of the rib. So from the back of the animal, you have the Porterhouse, you have the T-bone, you have the club steak, you have the cowboy steak, or the tomahawk with the longer rib. So that's how it all works. Now, if you do cut out the tenderloin from a cow, then you're going to have to get steaks from another cow because you can't share basically. So that's how it works. But let's get started prepping this one. I'm going to do salt only, no rub, no muss, no fuss, because I want that raw, unadulterated beef flavor that you get from this marvelous cut. So not going to modify it in any way, just want the pure beef flavor. So let's get started prepping, and prepping in this case simply means applying a dry brine. I'm going to use regular table salt because that's what I always use, and we're doing that to amplify flavor. And this is a thick cut, so I'm doing this so I can grill it tomorrow. So I'm going to put it in the fridge, let it sit there overnight, and let the salt work its way into the surface of the meat. Now I've done it quite a few times, I'm just going to wing it, and if I get a little extra salt, that's okay too. It's not going to hurt anyway. So that's one side covered, so the prep is dead easy on these. Now I'm going to flip it over, get some more salt on this side. And into the fridge it goes. The salt's going to draw out moisture initially, but then all that moisture is going to blend with the salt, and the salt goes back into the meat. So this is really good. Nice way of maximizing flavor on your beef. All right, prep done. That was easy. All right, so yesterday we applied the brine, and today it's time to get going with the cook. But before we do that, I want to make a nice sauce that complements the meat. And I thought, let's just whip up a simple truffle mayo. It's really easy to do, and it adds really nice flavor. And you make it in like less than 2 minutes. So let's get that going. Now, making truffle mayo is easy. Here I got 4 tablespoons of real mayo. I have some tiger sauce, classic, big fan. Of course, some white truffle oil. Now, this is a synthetic product, so there's no real truffle in it, but there sure is nothing wrong with the flavor. Now, dosage. Anybody who's ever tried truffle oil knows it's rather potent, very strong in flavor, so I'm going to use very little. So what I'm going to try to achieve here is get like 5 drops per tablespoon, which means I'm going to get 20 drops in here. That's a good start anyway. 5, 6, that's 10 roughly, another 5, and another 5. That should be 20. Now give it a good stir, and then you're gonna have to taste to see if it's enough truffle for you, if you want to add more, but go very easy on the truffle. It smells good already, so this is nice. As you can see, it's dead easy to make, and it's nice to make this in advance so it's all ready when it's time to eat that porterhouse. Quick taste test. See where we're at. Now just a few more drops. That should do it. Whisk a little bit with a spoon, and then I'm gonna add the tiger sauce. Now this again is all about flavor preferences, but I think 1 teaspoon or a little bit more is just fine. Depends on how much vinegary flavor you want to add to the mayo already. But as you can see, you make it in less than 2 minutes, quite easy. Good flavor, and I like this combination together with the meat. And like I said before, we're just going to apply salt, nothing else, so nice and easy cook. Simple, clean flavors, that's the way I want it. This should be good. All right, time to fire up the grill. All right, so here's today's setup. Got the kettle with the slow and sear. This is a Cuba charcoal. Really like it, I keep using it a lot. And this is a new Easy Spin grate from ABC Barbecue. I'm not sure I'm gonna spin it so much, but it's nice to have full access to the charcoal basket, so that's really good. So I think it's time to strike that match and get that fire going. Of course, it's starting to rain. Good thing we're doing barbecue and not grilling, so I'm gonna put the lid on. But that should get the fire started. I'm gonna put the lid back on before the other coals get wet. All right. Stuff happens. So while this is getting started, I'm going to leave the lid with a good gap, as you can see here. That really helps with getting the oxygen in. All right, so we're up to temp, 260 Fahrenheit, 130 Celsius. I'm going to put the big steak on. Now, I told you I was going to place it specifically, and I'm going to do it like this because the top loin is bigger and it's going to require a little bit more heat than the more tender, if you like, tenderloin. So I'm going to place them like this. Top loin closer to the heat. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to put 1 thermometer in each to see how they develop. All right, put the lid back on. We'll check it in like 30 to 40 minutes and see what's happening. All right, we're 30 minutes in, it's raining, time to take a quick look. Oh, that's looking good. Well, kind of pale yet, but we still have to sear it. But I'll give it another, I don't know, let's see, 20 minutes, and then it's time to get that fire going. All right, so it's almost 1 hour in. The grill has been keeping temps rock steady, so now I'm gonna get this fire going for the sear. So I'm going to move over some charcoal and stoke it, because now I want it real hot. So we're going to remove the thermometers. They've been tracking each other relatively closely. The tenderloin, even though it's further away, is 2 degrees higher consistently. So a good thing we placed it like we did. But let's get rid of the probes because I'm just a few degrees off. So we're going to get a good sear on this one. I'm going to move this back a little bit and at the same time put the lid on just to make sure the rain doesn't kill that fire. It's looking good. I'm going to place it like I did before with a small gap to get maximum ventilation in. And this time I'm going to put the vent right above it because I want maximum airflow all the way through. All right, we got a good fire going, so it's time to sear, and I'm realizing now how easy it's going to be to just spin the grate. Nice one. Give it a good sear. I'm going to flip relatively often because it's almost done, so we just want to get a nice surface, a nice char. And There's quite a bit fat cap here and it's gonna burn pretty quickly, so we'll see how it goes. I see that grease catching fire. All right, I'm gonna flip it. Looking good though. Nice cook, quick one. And another flip. Should be done within 30 seconds. That grease is burning. I don't want to leave it on like this for too long because that burnt grease is going to taste rancid otherwise. Final flip. And we're done. Okay, I brought the steak in. Really nice porterhouse steak, looking good. Took it up to 135 Fahrenheit, which is like 57, 58 Celsius, which is just where I want it. Looking great, nice grill marks and everything. But it's super tasty, so I'm just gonna cut a slice of the... I'm gonna start with the tenderloin. Oh, that's looking good. Now this is a reverse sear for you folks. It's all the way through, same temperature, which is really good. Really tender and juicy. Not bad at all. All right, let's move on over to the other side of the team. Real juicy. So this side is a New York strip, or the top line. When cooking, they were tagging along. I mean, basically piggybacking onto each other at the same temps almost. It was 2 or 3 degrees higher in the tenderloin than the New York strip. But very, very close, so that's definitely good enough. And I think it helped that I placed the porterhouse with the top line closer to the fire. This is good. Good tasting fat cap too. Really nice. See if I have some paper here. This was good, super tasty, so guess dinner is ready for me, which is nice. Gonna eat it with my homemade truffle mayo. Again, the recipe is available on hankstruebarbecue.com, so go check it out. Nice and easy, quick sauce, awesome steak. So thanks for watching. If you like this, just hit that subscribe button so you don't miss things, and ring the bell too. All right, I'm gonna dig in. See you guys next week.